Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you, talking to you about you and your business. We got a really exciting show lined up for you today. A lot on business, a lot what's going on the political front, and much, much more. So looking forward to it. I've got Vijay Mira here, our first segment, and he's a business consultant. He's worked with companies of all sizes, and been looking forward to talking to him. And not only are you a business consultant, but you've worked internationally as well.
That's correct.
Yeah, I got you on the program, international businessman, and delighted to have you on the program. And you've been helping businesses for many, many years. You've got an international background, and you're now taking it to in the form of a book to try to get the message out there. Vijay, talk a little bit about your background and talk about what led you to writing your book.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. I've worked in 6 different countries, including the United States and India, Singapore, Germany, and the United Kingdom. And in 20 years, I've been bringing business transformation to various companies of various sizes across the globe, specializing in IT and supply chain-related operational efficiencies. It's been an amazing experience, Kevin, to be able to work in such diverse sectors as telecom, manufacturing, banking, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and so many more, and work with some really bright people across the globe of various different cultures to try and bring more and more operational efficiency to these businesses. And in my global travels of 20 years across all these dimensions, 3 things have really struck out to me that I've sort of picked up from the business world and also now started applying to life. And they've started showing up in the first book, and they'll keep showing up in the rest of my writing.
By the way, what's the name of your first book?
The book is called The Journey and the Voice, The Signal and the Noise.
Yes. And you can get it, by the way, at Amazon.com.
That's right. So 3 things really sort of struck out to me. One is no matter what we do, whether it's in business or in personal life, the wisdom of teams, the wisdom of teamwork and working cross-functionally, working together as a team brings out the most impact of a business or the most impact of an organization. The second is really mentorship, and we take this for granted, and we really sometimes underestimate the importance of living and being, in a certain way in which we want the whole department and the whole business to shape up. And the third, of course, is the ability to manage change, because as a human being, one of the fundamental difficulties we sort of grapple with on a daily basis and even at an organizational level is the ability to embrace something different, the ability to embrace change. And once you tackle these 3 things, you really get to a level of organizational learning, that sort of brings about a totally different result in terms of whether it's order entry cycle time reduction or it's a better competitive bottom line to the business, higher profitability, and what have you. In fact, the thing I was most struck about in terms of mentorship was so deep that I've actually written a poem on it in my next book, and the second book's called Reflections. And there's a poem, if I could take a minute and just read a few paragraphs of it to you. It's called The Chief, and it's about mentorship.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it starts like this. It says, "Was he the boss or was he the mentor? If you slacked up, he was surely the tormentor. Was he the one to be feared or revered? His name, I'm sure, you've often so heard. He hired you into the firm, he did, or simply to him did you report like a kid? You were green and eager, knowing less than a beaver, and mold you he did into the mighty god Shiva. His names there were many, like Guru or Joel or Steve or Denny, but the title itself stood higher, it stood taller. The chief is how he would become to known forever. Not just sir or sire or surgy or boss, these were worthy names in themselves, of course, but something far greater was coming to pass. The heavens knew it well. You would too, if you'd ask. The role of the manager, the alchemist, the mentor, was being forged into one to be the transporter. He was more than a guide, a protector, or helper. He was the catalyst who would one day make you leader. His job was not easy. 'Twas a tough ask, to make the greenhorn a stalwart and fast. You'd hate him, you'd doubt him, and grudge him at times. You'd had never the skill nor wisdom to read between the lines. But he was committed to you and to him, an oath he had taken through thick and through thin, to shape you and mold you and bring out your best, no matter how much you'd put him to test. Why did he do this? Why did he care? What was the secret? I'd wonder and stare. The answer stayed hidden, even though I tried. Only the universe knew. It never lied. And even though for me 'twas a miss, the universe knew that the answer was this. Like Luke Skywalker through Yoda the Master had learned to be Jedi, stronger and faster, the chief through the years had grown wise and strong when he too had apprenticed for one for so long. And so the tradition to grow and transform another to greatness forever was born. 'Twas a debt that had been incurred but one time and repaid forever in cycle sublime. You know, this poem sort of hits at the root of leadership and mentorship in companies.
Yeah.
So often we think of the big boss as having a role of, a cushy job, whether it's the CIO, the CFO, the CEO. But it's really the hardest job to mold the entire organization in the spirit of leadership, in the vision that he or she is portraying for the company, in the mission that he or she is leading the charge for. And once, as a leader, you've achieved this, you've actually grown a following, not in a political sense, but in a true sort of leadership and organizational sense. You've won the battle.
Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. So what kind of businesses did you have in mind when you wrote the book?
I have done work for a wide variety of businesses, spanning manufacturing, spanning the banking industry, financial services, pharmaceuticals, automobile companies. So my background has been in operational effectiveness. I was a graduate of MIT's Leaders for Global Operations program, which is a joint program between the business school and the engineering school, and I had 2 master's degrees from there. So my whole focus for the book was to sort of bring some of those learnings from the operational side of business into the human side, into the human journey, into the journey of life, and sort of try and bring the readers to start a process of inquiry into their own lives, into his or her own life, to make it more fulfilling, to make it more whole, to make it more complete.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, interesting information. People can learn more about it over there at Amazon.com. Go ahead and give the name again.
It is The Journey and the Voice, the Signal and the Noise.
Yeah, make sure people check it out. Check this one out. Hurry and do it before Reflections comes out. And by the way, we do have some information about the book over at usdailyreview.com, our sister news website. Make sure you check that out as well. And I appreciate you being a guest on our program. I enjoyed it.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, you bet. All right, when we come back, we're going to have much, much more for you. I do want to remind you, it is the show that never ends because it does continue 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. While there, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Stay tuned, though, for more.